Okay, hey guys, it's the Book Asylum. Welcome back. Happy Saturday. I'm JL Foulk. Got Dungeon Dan here and Angel Ramon, our usual cast. And today our guest is Matt Micheli, which we were just getting a little Italian lesson from him. Micheli, it is what it is.
It
But
all
Dude.
works.
when in Rome, do as Romans do. But
Yes.
Matt,
Uh-oh.
welcome to the show. We are
Thank you.
so glad to have you.
Thank you. Sorry about the computer mishaps. I think all of my interviews start with "sorry for the computer mishaps." It seems to just be a trend, but no. Thanks for having me on. Glad to be here.
All of our shows start with sorry
Yes,
for the computer
we have
mishaps.
never had a show that did not start with some type of chaos about a computer.
Yes.
Keep it going.
and and for those of you, yes, thank you for keeping on the tradition. For those of you out there who are watching us live, you guys can sign up on StreamYard to show us who you are when you do leave a comment. If you leave a comment, that way we can be like, hey, Matt, so and so wanted to know. So you guys can do that. Because it keeps us from having to go, hey, who's this guy? Facebook user, what? So if you
Yeah.
guys would do that before you do start signing on and or sign on to StreamYard before you guys do start leaving comments, that'll just help us. So, Matt,
Yes.
I'm going to lead off with the first question. I know nothing about you apologetically that I told you before the show started. What kind of books would you call your books? Like what
Um,
genre?
I would say general horror. One that we'll discuss briefly later that I'm hoping to launch in summer is more extreme, a
Mhm.
little more splatterpunk. But I've had a reviewer one time that had read all of my stuff, and they reviewed each book, and then at some point they said, "Things just keep getting weirder with my book because you don't know what to expect." Um, so I like that. My range is pretty broad. But yeah, it's a general horror. Again, the newer one be a little more extreme, but that's my normal wheelhouse.
Well, I'm currently reading White, and the first thing I noticed is, other than the fact that you're really good at a dysfunctional family setting, you're doing this slow burn buildup. I don't know where we're going. I don't even think I've hit the halfway mark,
Yeah.
but I'm already like, oh, what the hell's going on? I trying to make decisions. Is this going to be a creature thing? Is this going to be, what's it going to be?
Uh, well, I'm not going to tell you, but
Yeah,
I'm glad
I was
you're.
just thinking that's not a question.
Yeah, I'm glad you're about midway and having those thoughts, which is pretty. It's been pretty standard with reviewers and readers. That's my highest rated book at the moment. It's not my most reviewed, but it's one that people either really loved it, or a few that really hated it. But yeah, I know this one. It started out with the first line, "Hell is finally frozen over," and kind of that scene with the mother-in-law and the son-in-law, or I'd say the estranged mother-in-law, who
Mm-hmm.
kind of pops up when she wants to, unannounced, and then she won't see the family for years at a time, and then just kind of pop back into their lives. Um, so yeah, it started with that, and just kind of went from there. I built the characters. Obviously, as Margot developed further, the dysfunction there was a lot of fun to grow that. And then yeah, I wanted it to be intense inside the home, um, with the thought that outside it's going to be worse. But yeah, it's a short book, but and I don't give anything away. I don't really even give anything away on the synopsis. I don't do any trigger warnings or any of that with this particular book, because everything is a spoiler because it is so short. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun book to write.
I'm enjoying reading it. I'm up to the part where obviously something's gone on next door, but I haven't got up to anybody actually going over there yet. So I'm all kinds of freaked out. It's like I just can't wait to figure out what's about to happen. And Margot is a bitch so far.
Yeah, I, I'd love to say she gets better, but she doesn't. Just those passive aggressive comments, just But I don't know. My thing with characters and dialogue is I try to make it as believable as possible, and I just felt this character is a real character. Like there are those
Well,
people out there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
her passive aggressive comments. I'm like, I'm thinking you must know somebody like this.
Mhm.
Maybe a few.
Maybe a few. I know.
Maybe.
I had because after that one I released Scratched. Not to get off topic, but I had people saying you really know how to write terrible females. So maybe I've.
Oh boy.
And I'd like to think I'm surrounded by great females and great influences. But that's, I guess, if that's my niche, I'll take it.
Well, I know that my next book is going to be 2 Minutes with the Devil. I
Cool.
bought both of these at the same time. So am I going to be expecting the same type of thing? Am I going to have some fucked up characters in that one as well? Or is this without giving it away?
Well, so that's a throwback. And I think y'all were talking to Bauer about how a lot of books had kind of gone back to the 80s and why we're kind of trying to relive our childhoods. I guess those were the best times of our lives, at least for me. That's when I grew up. So this one's set in 1986. It's loosely based on my childhood environment. Obviously, any similarities to real events or people are strictly coincidental. But honestly, they're based on actual people, every damn one of them.
Names have changed
I
to
love the-
protect the innocent.
Yeah.
I love the honesty.
What's that?
I love the honesty.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But no, this one's going to be more about kids. It's a coming of age thing. It's probably going to give you some nostalgia and some good memories. There are fucked up people and some elements within the book. But there are no vicious females. Let's just go there. So
Okay.
it's a step in the right direction. Yeah.
So it's not based, in fact, in real life.
Yeah.
Hello, Doc.
The 80s. Women were not.
Yeah.
Hey, Doc.
I told you I'd literally be here on my lunch break, so I am.
There
And
you
you
go.
go right
in the
ahead and do
bathroom?
you in the bathroom.
Eating in the
Oh no,
That-
I'm in the break room. So
The break room.
I have a
It's
little
just empty.
Oh, you can't see it. I have a little window, and
Nice.
I get to see the line of cars that hasn't stopped since 8 a.m.
Fun times.
No,
They give you a window.
They afford her just the
No, you're-
ever smallest amount
Yeah.
of daylight and hope that she might be able to leave the building.
that's it.
Fragment of hope.
That's it.
So Matt, I got a question for you. Do you consider your stories to be character driven or plot driven? What do you consider your books?
That's never really thought about it. I kind of, I'll come up with an idea. Sometimes it's more character based. Sometimes it's more story, and the characters kind of come along with it. I try to make, like I said, I really try to make believable characters.
Right.
Obviously, in horror, the stories aren't always believable because it's supernatural elements and whatnot. But yeah, that's I don't have a direct answer for you because again, it just depends on the story and kind of what pops in my mind at that time. Like I said, with The White, it was that first line, and and just the idea of the mother-in-law and Dan standing there, and the rest of the story went from there. I didn't know where it was going to go. Now, this newest one, I guess, would be more story driven. I kind of wrote an outline.
Okay.
But yeah, it really depends on each book.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair answer, and it's true. You're absolutely right about that. It really depends how we feel or what we're feeling when we're writing. Do we feel more towards the story, or is it more towards the characters?
Exactly.
So when you do your character development, do you just start with a base idea of this, or let me see, how do I phrase this? Do you just pick this person and then you develop everything at once and then put them into your storyline, or do you just let it all evolve as it goes?
I've always been a writer that lets everything evolve as it goes. So when I start a story, I don't know where it's going to end. And then I hope that as I'm writing it, the ending will come to me, and it does. And not always, but
Wonderful.
but no, the characters, through dialogue and some other things, you start to envision them a little bit more, and they kind of come to life while you're writing. And that's one of the awesome things about being a writer is you're not really coming up with the ideas. You're kind of a vessel. So you're kind of reading it as you're writing it. So you're kind of watching these people come to life. It's a really neat process. But yeah, I'm not all that organized with books. Yeah. And again, the white, what is it? 65, 70 pages. I mean, I don't have to have, boards hanging up with, characters and
Yeah, right.
tons of post-it notes and stuff. I kind of know where it's going. It's pretty simple, straightforward. But.
Well,
Okay.
you said on this one that you started with an outline. How long was your outline?
I mean, one page. I kind of just came
Okay.
up with chapter titles, and then I decided that each chapter would be based on that particular character,
Okay.
kind of their perception of things. So really, I would say one piece of scratch paper and maybe one Word page on Microsoft Word, and that was all the notes and
Okay.
outline I did. But at least I had kind of an outline. I typically don't have anything, so just hope it all works out.
Do you find that your ideas your story ideas just pop into your head, or are you one of those that, like, I'm at the grocery store and you see somebody drop something, you're like, oh man, that would be good in a story type of deal?
A little of both. Obviously life experiences are going to drive ideas, but I tend to find myself coming up with an awesome idea at the least inopportune time, like driving or something where I can't take a note of it, and then every light turns green magically and you'd never stop, you know what I mean? And it's like, God, I don't want to lose this idea. And then people are calling you, and or in the middle of the night, especially when writing. So the idea is I'll make notes on my phone, and then I'll come back to them, and my memory's not fantastic. So typically I'm like, oh, what is this? I had no idea. Like, oh, this is a good idea.
Yeah, I have to reread paragraphs before where I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of. I do the same thing when I'm going back into a project. I'll read another page or two to get me back into the groove.
Yep.
But when I'm writing, it could be the middle of the night. I'll be like, oh, I need to change the structure of that sentence. Just some random sentence in the book. I actually posted about it because when I sent the newest one off to the editor, after going through it, I went through it once. I sent it to the editor, and as soon as I hit send, I'm like, oh man, I needed to add this or change that. And I'll get up in the middle of the night and walk to my phone. I don't keep my phone in my room. I try to stay away from all that stuff, but I'll go in and put the notes in and be like, okay, tomorrow morning I'll get back in there. But yeah, just, again, I don't think we don't really come up with ideas. They kind of come to us, and that's pretty awesome how that works. But yeah, you never know when. Like I said, usually when I'm driving or I'm super busy or, and really don't have a moment to make the note, that's usually when the best ideas come.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was just saying that to Dan the other day. I was like, bro, why is it whenever I'm at work or in the shower or somewhere where I do not have paper and where I don't have my laptop, I get the best ideas? And
That's it.
yeah,
Because you're not trying.
it's annoying.
That's why, right?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'll remember that. No problem. Never happens.
No.
5 minutes later,
Never
you forget.
Yep. Yeah, you got to make those notes. So yeah, I'll jump out of the shower. That's another spot. It happens all the time.
Yep.
But I'm like, oh, I gotta put this note down before I do anything else, because not that it's solid gold and these notes are worth anything,
Oh, yeah.
to start a story off of.
I save them all just because it might be good, maybe not for the current story that I'm working on, but maybe for another story, it's gold,
Absolutely.
So I save all that if I do jot down notes. So I have piles of random pieces of paper
Yeah, I do
all
too.
over my desk.
Couldn't make it work in this story, but maybe that one.
What's also cool, if you ever have to, go to court, they can review all the notes that you took in your phone and be like,
yeah,
this guy's out of his mind. Or
when did you
Never
write
even
this,
thought
ma'am?
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
what?
years of proof that you're insane.
There
Thank
you go. Yeah. So
that you should have been committed.
Yeah.
So what book do you have out right now that seems to be like the one that you find the most fun to write? That it was.
the one that's currently out, I'd say 2 Minutes with the Devil. And again, that kind of goes back to, it's loosely based on my childhood and childhood friends and environment. I always make up names of towns, but people that live in the particular towns it's based off of could probably relate. Be like, oh yeah, I know exactly where he's talking about, but I'll change the name up a little bit. But that one was a lot of fun. And again, it's 1986. It's summer. It's kids on bikes. It's all the cool things that we wish our kids would do more of, and they don't. And it was a lot of fun. I based that one. I don't know if y'all ever played games like Bloody Mary or any of those.
Oh, yeah.
When you were young. Okay.
Ghost in the Graveyard.
Yeah. So the idea for this book is I wanted to create a new game that was kind of paying homage to Bloody Mary and games like that we played as kids. And I came up with the game 2 Minutes with the Devil, where the kids have to, say this little rhyme and then go into the dark, somewhere completely dark for 2 minutes, keep their eyes closed. If they open their eyes and see the devil, he eats their bones. There's a whole rhyme that goes along with it. So I wrote that, I made up the game and then started the story of these kids, and then how kids start disappearing while playing this game, and a town loosely based on where I grew up. And it was a lot of fun. And I kind of alluded to it on some posts, but there will be a part 2. I think that was the one. Kind of, some things were left open-ended, but I do that intentionally because I don't like everything tied up so nicely when I read. But that was, if any negative comments were related to that, like it just kind of ended a little fast. They wish there was more. But at the end of the book, I do put the end for now. So, I mean, it's obviously going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
It's 10 years. But I guess the for now really didn't
hit home
across
with people.
as I wanted it to. But
I'm
no,
getting
that-
this.
anyway,
I'm
so-
buying this. I am so intrigued with this.
Yeah. So yeah, expect a second one.
Yay.
So don't get mad at me at the
Sounds
end.
great, man.
I will be hounding you for that
Oh.
second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going all over the place with what I'm talking about. But yeah, that one was the most fun. But again, I have fun writing everything. It's so exciting to write and create something. I was speaking to John Steffens yesterday. I don't know if y'all know him. He's a really talented author too. He's got a couple out with Filthy Loot, and he's kind of splatterpunk horror style. Really cool guy. But we were talking about the Rider roller coaster, where you're super excited and like almost overly confident when you finish that product or that project. And then the longer you wait after that period, the more insecure and the more self-doubt just creeps in. So then you're like, is it good enough? Is it any good at all? And then you're like,
Yes.
Yeah.
The imposter syndrome hits.
That's it. So yeah, it's all fun when you're creating it. And then it's just like the dread of waiting and seeing if people like it. And then you hope that they do. And when they do, it's, you get that little high of that roller coaster ride again. But yeah, that's the favorite one. I won't give you any of the trigger warnings again, because I think they're spoilers. Sorry, but
That's all right.
I'm not a baby. I'm a Gen X. I don't need trigger warnings anyways.
I read just about anything. I read just about anything.
But yeah, that one, again, loosely basing the characters and the environment, and everything. It's got a special place in my heart. It kind of there's a couple of parts that get to me when I reread it. But yeah, we'll see what you think. Love for you to read it.
Definitely
Okay.
will.
All right.
So, if you don't mind, and I don't even know why I want to know this, but can you walk us through a day of writing with you? What are your rituals? What do you strive for?
What do I strive for? Just
that's not
Word
the right way to
count.
put it. Like Angel Ramon is all about the word count, and he writes 8 million words an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, that's
He's
really
a super
good.
writer.
Thank you. I've actually slowed down though since I used to write 4,000 a day back 5 years ago. I've really slowed down now, but I think it's because it's more quality over quantity.
Yeah, absolutely.
He calls slow down going from 5,000 words a day to 2,500 words a day.
That's still that's damn good.
Yeah.
That's still really good.
Insane.
Yeah, I'm happy to throw down 500. You know.
Yes.
All right, that was really
It's
good.
better than zero, man. It's better than zero.
You're
Hell
like, you're like, good job, buddy. Good job.
You know?
So Dungeon Dan. By the way, Dan, I'm glad you kept the nickname even after you escaped.
That's the best one I heard.
That's a solid nickname.
Hey,
Hey,
Alan.
man. What's up, man?
As far as my writing process, you know, my biggest obstacle is time. You know, I'm married. I run a small business. I've got a 9-year-old. Well, actually, she just turned 10, little girl. So I'm trying to be husband, father. You know, run a business so I can pay our mortgage. Book writing's not there yet. So for me, the biggest obstacle is time. So if I can get, say, 2 to 3 hours uninterrupted, that's like gold to me.
Mhm.
Basically, I'll come to the office. I'll put on some Pandora channel instrumental, depending on what mood I'm trying to fit for the scene. I use music as the background music, and it can really kind of drive your story certain direction too. So, you know, I've got more upbeat stuff like Time Cop 1983. It's just the 80s digital sounding stuff. You know, if I'm a little more upbeat, then I've got, you know, explosions in the sky, or if you want some slower, more depressing stuff. So depending on what scene I'm writing, I'll find a station that kind of suits that. Never any lyrics because that's distracting. But yeah, I'll have a cup of coffee or some kind of drink, depending on what time of day it is, and I'll sit there and write, and then, you know, nothing too exciting. There's no fireworks or anything. But
I just find it interesting. I know what happens when I sit down. It's, oh, I forgot my drink. Oh, now I gotta go take a pee. Now I'm staring at my screen going, what was I gonna write now?
I will say, so, and going back to what y'all were talking with Angel about word count, I've never been somebody that could sit down and just say, I'm going to write this many words, because if it's either there, it's not for me. And it takes me probably 30 minutes of quiet time in the office before I can even start writing. You know, I've got to have that. I've got to unwind thing. But yeah, I know certain writers that, you know, they'll say I was up at 2, 3 a.m. getting my word count, and I'm just like, good grief, I can't do it. And, you know, speaking of that, if the story's not coming to me, I don't force it either, because you can tell when writing is forced.
Yes.
At least in my opinion, I can tell my own. I have forced stuff. I used to write for magazines and stuff, and I would force a review, and they would come back and be like, "This isn't like your other reviews." Well, you know what happened?
Well, I wasn't really feeling it, so
yeah, about that, I need to step away. But yeah, I never try to force it. Again, if I can get, you know, 500 or 1,000 words, some days I might write 5,000 words if I have a full day and it's flowing. But yeah, I don't have any guidelines on any of that. Just when I can get some time, sit in there, and that's my meditation. You know.
How long have you been writing for?
I recently started again about 1.5 years ago. I had a couple of train wrecks of books published about 14 years ago.
Is one of them Naked? Somebody was asking. You wrote the book Naked, didn't you?
No, I didn't. That's another.
That's so weird.
No. This next book has a lot of nudity in it.
The next one's Naked.
Yeah, Scratched has some nudity. No, I wrote a couple of books. I guess I was mid-20s at that point. And back then, you know, I was Bill Shakespeare. You know, I didn't listen to anybody. I thought I was some of the best writer in the world. And I really tried to emulate Chuck Palahniuk at that time, and it was just like a really bad version of Chuck Palahniuk.
Yeah.
Or Palahniuk, however you want to say.
Fight Club.
Yeah.
Can't match that, bro.
But yeah, you know, and it's, you know, it's still a part of me. The first one was called Memoirs of a Violent Sleeper, and it's about a guy with a really bad sleep disorder, so he couldn't be in relationships, so he kind of resorted to prostitution, drug use. You know, very,
like
very
he himself prostituted, or
no,
he bought prostitutes.
Bought, because he couldn't form a relationship with people, and he was a real awkward character. but the story was okay. The writing was horrific. And that book still haunts me today. And then the next one I got published magically by somebody that wanted it, was called Smut. And it was middle age, mid-20s, I guess, mid-20s, early 30s, people living in a kind of a high profile city and partying and doing drugs and having sex. And then there's all these people being murdered in the background that nobody seems to care about, which was another really cool idea. And that one, I think I was trying to emulate Bret Easton Ellis a little more. You don't have your own voice, at that, or at least
Yeah.
at that point.
No, it grows. It grows.
So both of those, they're still there. Goodreads won't delete them. You can't get rid of them. It's like,
They're out in the
like, oh, this
ether.
book. And I'm like, no, don't.
They're
read
like
this
a bad penny keeps turning up.
Yeah, but no, not to bring up, our favorite years, but COVID kind of gave me a chance to step back and revisit things that I loved and stop doing for reasons unknown. You know how life kind of just, you go throughout your day to day, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh man, I love writing, but I haven't written in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of gave me a chance to revisit it and get back in. And then I really strove to get better. And, I read some books on writing, and actually Stephen King's On Writing was really good.
Mm-hmm.
There were a few other ones. I think Tim Wagner had one. But, just tried to get a little bit better at the craft and not produce total train wrecks. I think I've come a long way. I've still, working with editors, you still find out how terrible of a writer you are. But
yeah, I'm looking forward to all that.
But there's less read with each manuscript. You get a little bit better each time. So seriously been writing about a year and a half. I've released 2 books through D&T Publishing, and then I released Scratched on my own. That was all last year. And then I've got a Halloween Story 1 and a Halloween Story 2 that I self-pubbed, which are just fun little Halloween stories that I put out every year. There'll be a third one this coming year. Or I'm sorry, the year one, I'm sorry. But yeah, so a lot of books quickly. So I kind of loaded heavy, and now I'm going to take my foot on the gas, come out with maybe one project a year and really hone in on it. But
yeah, it's hard when you have a full-time job, especially like if it's your own business. Because I have a pool business, and it's, and I work. So on top of trying to get out, but thankfully my job is actually relatively easy where I do get time to write while I'm at work. So I'm very grateful for that.
When you say pool business, are you talking about like you're pooling something or like a swimming pool?
Like swimming pool servicing.
Okay. Just wanted to...
Yeah, no, we just stand there and pull things all day. All day.
Yeah.
We just stand there, we're like, yeah.
You need something cool, call us.
Have you thought about maybe taking those books that you wrote in your early 20s and revamping them or coming out with revisions?
I have, but usually a new idea will pop in my head, and then I'll kind of roll with that. I mean, never say never. Nothing in the plans though, as far as re-release. Okay. I'm just trying to distance myself from them.
Good luck.
So I want to
ask you, come home.
So I want to ask you, would you be open to writing in another genre besides horror? Do you plan on doing so?
Yeah, I like, anything with edge. So like dark fiction, transgressive. I mean, that's my roots, honestly. I didn't go into general horror until I started writing again a year and a half ago, or roughly. So before that, it was more transgressive with some horror elements. Like Dan was saying, that the family dysfunction, that kind of stuff, like in real life intensity and chaos. I love all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it really just depends on the idea that comes to me, but I'm not necessarily going to stick to horror. It's just the ideas. That's where they've come from. Started writing. And I read primarily horror and indie horror.
Oh, good.
At this point, I mean, there's so many indie authors. It's hard to, I can't keep up, with my friends' books, much less, Stephen King, but,
I think we all have a huge TBR pile.
Yeah, it's growing.
Mine just gets bigger every day.
Guilty.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, it's growing.
So you feel like talking about your newest, your most current that's not available yet? You want to? What was the title of that one?
Pornageddon.
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 Are we
my
dying
goodness.
by porn? What's going on here?
Um,
Dan's like, I'm in heaven.
well,
Yeah, Dan is like, woo-wee!
This is when Pornhub goes wrong.
yeah. I did write a story about influencers and how that leads to porn, but that was published in, I guess, the Texas AuthorCon's first anthology last year, Mind Blown or something like that. That was in there. But no, this one is it's the battle of good and evil like you've never seen before. And again, I don't want to give too much away, but it's about the hottest new porn starlet to hit the adult film industry world. Men are obsessed with her, and as this obsession grows, bad things are happening around. There's the wildfires on one end of the state. You know, there's talk of crops dying. Marriages are splitting up, and it's kind of revolving around this addiction to porn, or more so the addiction to Abella Jane, who is the new porn starlet. There's a character in the book who, through tragedy, starts seeing visions.
Mhm.
And these visions are ultimately of the people he's supposed to recruit to stop the devil and save the world.
Mhm.
Let's just say the devil is very sexy and dirty.
I'm listening.
So yeah, and you know, I kind of, as I was writing it, like you said, it's got the word cock, and I don't know how many times. You know, how many different ways are there to say that though? Not many. You know, member, penis, you know, dick. I mean, there's a few, right? But you start calling it other things, tree branch, you know, whatever.
I think it would have been
Wait.
more irritating if you just kept circulating those words. You know, if you got one word, you stuck with it, and it was there a lot.
I told the editor, I go, you should play a drinking game every time you come across that word, take a drink. No, I was like, don't do that while you're editing. No, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, no, drunk by the end of chapter 1.
So yeah, the book, I'm super excited about it. Response from a couple of folks, it's coming in. They're just like, holy shit, this is awesome. And they're people I really respect. Oh, and speaking of, I can read you a blurb about it.
Yes, please.
Dude,
So this is from Patrick Harrison, PC3.
Oh, mhm.
And here's his quote. It says, "I'm not sure if this book wants me to pray to God or porn, or maybe both. Nothing I've ever read has delivered two so polar opposite themes within the same text, yet Micheli does it masterfully. So grab a Bible and some lube and ellipsis. Jesus, we're going to hell."
Leaves it. Oh, I love it. Oh my God.
that's
that
the
is
best
ingenious.
blurb I've ever heard.
That's
That
excellent.
is.
Yeah. So
Grab your Bible and some lube.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
so yeah, I've got
Wow.
Yeah,
PC3,
we're going to hell.
a couple other folks that are going to blurb for it. I couldn't really think of many that would even, you know, you're like, I'm not blurbing for that, you know. But yeah, I'm excited about it. It's going to give my readers a whole, you know, different world that they're not going to expect. I mean, by the title, and I'm sure the cover art will be there, and you expect it, but definitely something a little bit different than what I've released so far. So
I'm looking forward to that one for sure.
it's fun.
I mean, if PC3 is saying it's good, then you better believe it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked to have him on board with it. So
Mm.
Yeah, that's a feather in the cap right there.
Yeah. Alan says I need an adult every time you guys are online or on air.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
every week.
it's every week, man.
was
It's
that
every
the
week.
cock talk? Every
So
time I turn you guys on.
Yeah. When is Pornageddon coming out?
So I don't have a date. So I'm speaking to a couple of different publishers who have shown interest in the concept. I was getting the manuscript edited. Again, I went ahead and paid for editing this time because it's such a time crunch. because I want it out before summer, before I go do these author cons and whatnot. So I mean, ideally late May, but again, you know, if I can land a publisher, if they're willing to take it on in such a short notice, and they like the manuscript, that's another big key component.
Yeah.
Then that would be the goal. Have it out by May. ARC readers get copies in early May, and go from there. But yeah, I'm excited about it. It's a fun one for sure.
Well, you know, we have a release party show that we do for anyone who has releases coming out. And we can do a release party show for you
Killer. Yeah, let's do it.
before. So that
Actually,
would be
I was going to rephrase it like, could we please do a release show for this
Yeah,
book?
totally.
Yeah,
At least do one. Yeah.
I would love to have you back. You're
Do it.
tons of fun, and I'm not talking about your weight. And then Alan says, Matt, I live in Marion, just 7 miles from Braunfels?
Oh,
New
you do?
Braunfels.
New Braunfels.
Wait, you live in Marion?
No,
Oh.
Alan does.
Oh,
I live.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
No,
Jen-
I live
Jen's
in
been-
I live in Arizona. I'm living it
Yeah,
up.
okay.
Texas
Yeah, I was
don't want
gonna
her.
Actually, I don't want Texas.
That
Okay.
accent was a
Yeah,
little different,
Dan.
so.
Was it?
Well, just I mean, when you said Marion, I was like, wait a minute, I'm getting a little
Yeah, no.
further north, a little further.
Yeah, no, I'm originally from Ohio.
Yeah, okay.
So,
There it goes.
Um,
Okay, now it came out all the
yeah.
way.
So
Say the state.
apparently,
Okay.
Alan knows where you live.
Yes.
Apparently, you live next to me and Alan.
Oh, are you down here?
I'm down in Live Oak, San Antonio.
Oh, no joke, man.
So we're all in this little circle right here. If you're in New Braunfels,
Wow.
Oh, look, you guys could have a circle jerk
Yeah, you can have
and
a
write
Exactly.
about it. And write about it.
Oh,
then
goodness.
just go out in our
Family
little
show.
dirty trailer park.
Yeah, yeah, not
Oh,
family
man,
show.
You're gonna enjoy Dan's dick jokes. That's for sure.
That's what he's known for.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't even know
Yeah.
how that happened.
He's also known for anal leakage, but that's a whole different topic.
Oh, boy.
Dang, we haven't
That
heard
one's
that in a
never gonna go-
minute.
I know
It's
that's never going to go away.
One show, and
Oh,
ever
boy.
since
One
then, every
comment
show.
on one show.
So that wasn't just a random where you came up with.
No.
Okay.
No,
This
no
is dating back This is dating back a year or so when
I don't
Dungeon.
know.
padded room.
Yeah,
boy.
with
And I
Jeff.
was-
I don't know which
yeah.
would be worse. If it was just random, or if it was the fact that it's something that's been going around for a year.
It might have been random the
I
first
think.
time around.
I think. Well, no, I'm like, which is worse? If it was
yeah, no,
random, it was bad the first time.
Yeah.
So,
Just rehashing
but
it.
okay, now we're gonna bring the show back in. Maybe we should
Yeah,
have
it's
had
off the
Doc.
rails. Let's get it back on the rails.
All right.
She's usually the cat wrangler.
Yes, y'all stop talking about dicks now.
Yeah.
Except for that
That's why
microphone.
She's all worked up.
Well, look what she's been
Hey,
grabbing
I'm
the whole
excited.
time.
Gonna take
Well,
that
there you
phone
go.
and
That's
get
why
it the other
It's a
way.
two-hander, too. So you have this porn. What is it? Pornpocalypse.
Porngeddon.
Pornageddon.
Armageddon. Like Armageddon. But
Pornageddon.
there you go.
Pornageddon coming out this year sometime.
Yes. That's it.
What's after?
I will.
Pornpocalypse. It's coming, I'm sure.
Porn and shit.
So there'll be a Halloween Story 3.
Mm-hmm.
Pornpocalypse would have worked. It just doesn't sound as good. That's basically
doesn't.
It
It
is kind of
doesn't.
the end of the world in the battle.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. A pornclips. You can fucking
Here we
endless options.
Yeah,
That
that's what I
sounds like
do.
an eclipse of the porn. I don't.
Totally.
Is that someone standing in front of the? Is that
think
someone
that's a
standing in front
song.
of the TV?
So Halloween Story 3, those are a lot of fun. Those I basically get 3 little short stories that tie into each other. Again, just for Halloween fun. They take place around Halloween or on Halloween. But those have done really well as far as the actual what people are saying about them. They don't sell a ton because they're just short stories, and and I don't really focus my attention on that. But kind of, I put them on a Kindle Unlimited, and just kind of a free bonus for people that like my stuff. Here you go. But yeah, so I'll be writing that one at the end of the year. And then I have to decide. I've got a couple of ideas. Obviously, 2 Minutes with the Devil 2, which I started on, at least kind of the idea and the concept, and a few paragraphs written. So I've got that one that I want to get out to be released sometime next year. And then I've got a cool sci-fi horror idea that I really want to write. So yeah, one of those will be on the docket for this coming year. So we'll see. But yeah, I'd love to get both of them out, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Got too many interviews to do. Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's
So
planning ahead.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
Who does your cover art, Matt? Your books look really nice. Every book has a great cover.
So they're all the same artist at this point. Now, depending on where Portageddon ends up, it's probably, unless I self-pub it, it'll have a different artist. But Don Noble from Rooster Republic Press. He's one of the reasons I went with D&T Publishing for the White, because I saw some of the artwork he was doing and kind of looked him up, and was like, I like this guy and what he's about. So I went with them. So he produced that one. He's done all of them. So even the Halloween Story 1 and 2 and Scratched. He did those for me on the side for self-pubbing. But yeah, he's been great. I'll give him an idea, and or he'll say, "Here's what I have in mind." Sometimes, and I'm like, "That is exactly what I have in mind." And there'll be tweaks here and there, as with any cover art. But he's been great, really cool guy. I'd consider him a friend now. I've gotten to know him pretty well. But yeah, if I'm self-pubbing, it's probably going to go through him at this point.
Cool.
I do love these covers. They grab your attention. I wanted to pull them into StreamYard and show them, but I couldn't figure out how to do it at the last minute. But I literally went through your whole book collection and popped up, pictures of the
Did you
the
look
covers
on Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got.
Get it.
Oh, you haven't? I was going to say I've got books. I could just hold them up.
Yeah, just hold them up.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
You can do that.
Yeah, that'd be excellent.
There we go.
and that's how you make a guest get up and leave. Set them on task.
Excuse me. All right, so let's see. I'll do them in order.
All right, cool.
Okay, so the first one is, there's the camera, the White.
The White.
Yep, love that.
There we go. Nice.
Very cool. Ominous cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then Scratched, which is the one I self-pubbed about the Real Housewives types getting mauled by a chupacabra.
Interesting.
Satirical, and yeah, a lot of pop culture stuff. And then, of course, 2 Minutes with the Devil.
Love that one.
Yeah, I'm loving that one. Yeah, that one is pumping up really good.
Yeah, I was, when we were talking about it, I said, the Stranger Things, kids on bikes. I said, I do want this particular sneaker bloody, though, on the front somehow. So he made it happen. It's very specific sneaker that I had when I was that age.
Cool.
A Halloween Story.
Halloween?
Oops, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get used to it. I'm on the phone. Sorry.
Yeah, I see it.
I
see it just fine.
Werewolf fella in here somewhere, which is really cool. And then he did a Halloween Story 2, which might be my favorite cover.
I like the green that pops out.
Yeah, that's Woody.
The monkey and the lady and all that. I was like, this is awesome. Very. I kind of told him I was going for like a creep show vibe, because that's what the stories are. They're just fun horror, stories. Nothing too super scary. There's a little gore in there. But yeah, he knocks it out. He's awesome.
Outstanding. Now, do you put anything on Audible? Have you gone that route?
I haven't personally, and D&T, having published 2, they haven't put those on Audible, and I don't know if they will or not. I own the rights to most of it. Their contract was pretty lenient, so I believe I could if I wanted to. I just haven't. And I know that would open up an entire market of other readers. But I just haven't yet. So it's not out of the question. Just haven't gotten around to doing it.
Outstanding.
That I'm
Everybody's
not
just
on
staring now.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry. I'm
just looking
looking.
at his catalog. I'm just looking
I'm
at
look.
that Amazon catalog.
I'm actually about to share his his Amazon page if I can.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it right here on my desktop. I'm looking
Make
at
sure
his
it's
books.
What
make
is
sure
this
it's the
doing?
one that where I'm wearing a shirt.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Do you have one that you're not wearing a
My
shirt?
screen has actually frozen. That's really weird. I don't understand what's going on.
It's
the
because of
curse.
that Pornageddon book.
Oh boy.
So,
Yeah, like
Matt.
I hear
so-
you, I just don't see you, and like,
yeah, Jennifer just
everything's frozen.
slow.
I
Yeah.
can't click on anything.
She. Oh wait, there she is. Okay.
Yeah,
What is
There I
going on?
am. Finally.
Okay.
What the heck is going on here?
Angel, you had a question or see?
Yeah. So I wanted to get your opinion about artificial intelligence and covers and books. It's been a bit of a outrage of AI. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about AI possibly taking over, writing books and covers and all that?
I think AI doesn't belong in art at all.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think, artificial intelligence, there's, like algorithms and all that stuff is artificial intelligence. So there's value to some of the technology as long as it's on the back end and doing things. But then even that can be used for wrong too, and censorship and all that kind of stuff. So not a big fan of it, but I get that we're not going to be able to get away from it completely. But yeah, when it comes to art, if somebody uses AI, in my opinion, that's not
Cheating.
really. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm no artist, so I don't know that much about it. But something scared me the other day, and it was Ruth Ann Jag, Jag or Jaggy, might be Jaggy. Great lady. She's around these parts too, Dan. Not too far.
Okay.
But she had posted something, and it was about people that are having mental health issues. Reach out to your AI psychologist. And I'm just like,
really?
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm just not, I'm not into that. Again, I think there's value on the back end for some of the technology, but when you start replacing people with AI, that's a bad thing. And I don't know exactly how to explain or why it's a bad thing, but it just doesn't feel right, man.
Well, we kind of already have an example, back when CGI first popped up in filmmaking.
Sure.
Those of us that were practical effects people were scared shitless that we were out of a job.
Oh man.
And for a while it got to be pretty ugly, but you do reach a medium to where everybody still gets to work. But and I have a feeling that's what's going to happen here. My biggest concern is the lazy people that are like, I'm going to have AI write this book and I'm going to make money off of it on Amazon. And that's just going to piss people off.
Yeah.
And they're going to be shy about buying books because it's like, well, how do I know this guy actually wrote this story?
It could really hurt indie publishing. It could really hurt self-pubbing.
I mean, publishing in general, because some traditional publishing might start using the same thing as well.
Fortunately, most writers, there's a style involved, though. Sentences aren't always perfect, and it's kind of a style preference. And I don't know if AI would be able to recreate that. I don't know. When I think of AI writing stories, at least now, it seems like it would come off very robotic. Grammar and everything. It would be these sentences, rigid sentences. Now, I haven't seen it. I don't know that much about it, honestly, but that would be my take. Where I get, where I think AI is going that I'm not a big fan of is you don't know what to believe anymore because it can recreate voices. They can make fake phone calls. They can make fake videos.
Yes.
But you see and hear, you don't know.
You can't trust it anymore.
No, not even on the news. You don't know if is this just a video? Is this going to be AI or whatever else? I mean, I don't like that aspect of it. I know Taylor. There was some Taylor Swift video that got released. I don't know. Did you hear about that?
I heard about that.
Which reminds me,
Yes.
if I can find it. No, but yeah, I haven't seen it, but I'm assuming it probably looked, pretty legitimate and got a lot of people upset. So it's. I don't know. There's always going to be a fine line with everything, and I don't know if people can see that line. So I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. There's really no stopping it at this point.
No, unfortunately not. And then
No.
we can just hope that the people that are using it and creating it are decent enough and smart enough to kind of see issues that may arise to be able to counter those. When it comes to art and creativity. And again, I don't think people can be replaced because we're flawed.
Yes.
That's what makes us who we are.
Exactly.
And that's what makes the stories be so unique from each other. Is that we're flawed. It's our flaws that make the stories, believe it or not.
Yep. I totally agree. Yeah, we'll see. I guess the only thing we can do is watch, see what happens.
Very true. Very true. Well, we're coming up to the end of the show. Matt, can you give us a rundown of everywhere people can find you, your books, anything that you got going on that you want people to be involved with?
Sure. Matt Micheli, author. You can find me. Last name Micheli. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. I don't do TikTok. I can't stand short videos, and it's way too intrusive. It drives me nuts. As soon as I turn it on, I get angry. I'm like, oh God, turn that off. Popping up at me. Oh man. So yeah, I have a TikTok account. I deleted it. I couldn't do it. I tried.
I refuse to get one.
So,
Yeah, me too.
Now everybody, they say that's where you sell all your books, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like me. Yeah.
But a few lucky folks. So yeah, Instagram, Facebook, Matt Micheli, author. You can find me on Amazon. Just look up Matt Micheli books. I'm on Goodreads, on the Books of Horror group site, which is an awesome community. I even give out my email. It's mattmicheliworld@gmail.com. Website, mattmicheli.com. So yeah, folks, want to connect, please do. As far as projects, yeah, 2 Minutes with the Devil. That's an awesome one. The White, still going strong. And then watch for Pornageddon. Again, it's the battle of good and evil like you've never seen, and probably will never want to see again.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
At least until part 2.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
The second battle. Well, I can definitely vouch for White. My next one will be 2 Minutes with the Devil, and I'm probably not allowed to say, but I've read some of Pornageddon. It's going to be badass. It's going to really be badass.
No,
Awesome.
I sent it to you, Dan. I said, yeah, if you want.
I did want to say, the whole time I've been sitting here, it's like I really want to tell people.
And that's not the polished version, obviously. So it'll be cleaned up some. And I've already, like I said, once I sent it to the editor, I'm like, oh, I can add this in here at the end to strengthen that a little bit. So there'll be a few minor changes, but you get the idea.
Yeah, yeah. It's very entertaining. So I'm looking forward to the official release, and please keep us in mind for the release. Do a release party. We'd be happy to do that.
Let's do it.
All right, sounds good.
Once I get established and all that, then yeah, we can definitely talk. That'd be awesome. Love to be back.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've covered it, Matt. Is there anything we missed?
What happened to the lady?
Oh, computer problem.
Jennifer Amano got knocked out. The computer was giving her problems, and
He said, "Oh wait, is she on? She's chatting or something, right?"
But
yeah, she's in the feed.
She did make your website, so people could check out your website.
Oh, okay. I thought she was like, I need to buy something on Amazon or something, and it's like,
She just ditched the show. I'm going shopping.
yeah, I'm going shopping.
She's watching us, guys. So that's behavior.
Well, Jen, Matt called your ass out. Left the show
Shots
for
fired.
fucking shopping.
Yeah, All right. Hope
All
those
right.
shoes are nice.
Well, thank you so much, Matt. You've been an
Absolutely.
outstanding guest.
Yes.
I have more questions. We just don't have the time, so we're gonna have to have you come back
Hey,
if you don't mind.
anytime.
Yeah, the release party. Yeah, whenever your book releases, sure, perfect time.
We'll do
Yep,
it.
and I'm sure you're going to be hearing from Alan because Alan likes to go to lunch with all the local authors.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
and it's,
All right, I'm Denton Dan for the Book Asylum. Our guest has been Matt Micheli.
mhm.
I almost said the other version. Angel Ramon and the ever shopping on Amazon jail Foulk.
Mhm.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next Saturday. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.